6,450 to most of the scholars and up, then you pay the zakat on that. If you owe people money, this means you are in need. First, take this out, take this out, take what you owe, take your bills, all these things out, and then you pay the rest. طيب, there's a سؤال هنا يقول الإبراء من الدين على مستحق الزكاة واحتسابه منها ما حكمه? Can you do that? He's trying to say, let's say you have money, zakat money, brother Omar, and I owe you, or I am a poor guy. I owe you money, and I am poor at the same time, and you want to give the zakat. Can you tell me, you know what, you owe me money, consider it from the zakat, just like that? No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to take the zakat out, then you give it to me as a person who's in need, as a poor person. And now, if I go without a pre-agreement, I did not make a deal with him, without it. He gave me the zakat, and I said, you know what, I owe this guy money. Then I came to him after that, and he said, oh brother, I owe you money, here you go. This way you can do it. But from the beginning, he tells me, oh, you are poor and you owe money, just deduct it. I'll deduct it from the zakat like that. قالوا لا يجوز هذا الفعل. That's not acceptable. But if he paid me the zakat and I took it, and then I said, you know what, this guy, I owe him money. I said, here you go. This is from the money which... Exactly. طيب, another beautiful question. حياك الله. يقول هنا, look to this beautiful question. هل يجوز الاشتراط على الشخص المستدين مبلغا من المال بالغ النصاب أن يؤدي هو زكاة المال? Did you see what he's saying? He said, is it allowed for the person? Let's say a person, he asked you for a loan. Somebody is asking you for $10,000 or $100,000. Are you allowed to tell him, you know what, I want to give you this good loan, but under one condition? What's your condition? شو هو الشرط تبعك? I'll give you $100,000 as a loan, but you are going to pay the zakat on it. Can I do that? No. Why? Because كل قرض جر منفعة فهو ربا. Yani, as he's telling me indirectly, I will give you the $100,000, and the $100,000 is 2.5 zakat on it, which is $2,500, $2,500. And he's telling me, you have to pay this $2,500. Yeah, but this is like riba, it's like interest. Yani, you charged me 2.5 interest. It's your money. You are getting a reward for giving me a good loan. And now you want to tell me I want to pay the zakat? Yani, as you are telling me, you have to pay 2.5% interest. And this is haram. هذا لا يجوز. You give a person a good loan, you gave him a good loan, you got the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. But as we said yesterday, if that person, when you ask him for the money, he will give it to you right away, then you pay the zakat on it. You. If he did not pay you the money and is still stuck with him, you look at it. Is there a potential? Or there is very low percentage to get your money back? Then you wait. You don't pay the zakat on it for 1 year, 2, 3, or whatever. Whenever he gives it back to you, if he gives it back to you, then you pay the zakat for 1 year only. Yesterday we said يقول هل يشترط في المال المزكى أن يكون فاضلا عن الحاجات الأصلية في حياة الإنسان؟ يعني this money it has to be extra. You don't need it for your essential needs. يعني what this means? I have $10,000 at home in the bank now in Ramadan. Let's say now in April. But I have at the end of the month, I have to pay the rent, I have to pay the bills, there's the insurance, there's car payment, there's مش عارف no payment, there's a debt due. It's almost $10,000. Should I pay any zakat on this $10,000? No, because you need it. You need it and you have to pay it for your essential needs within the time, as we said, within نفس السنة أو نفس الشهر. طيب, he's saying here a beautiful question. هل حدد الشرع الحاجات الأصلية في حياة الإنسان? Did Islam mention to us what's the essential needs to us? No. Everybody knows what's his essential needs. For me, maybe the computer is an essential need. But for somebody who doesn't read and write, it's not an essential need. He's just buying it for luxury, just to throw it there. For you decide what's your essential needs, which is things you cannot live without it. For these things, you don't pay zakat on it. A question: لو مات المالك قبل تمام الحول ولو بأيام فهل يجب في مال الإرث زكاة? Let's say a person, he died before al-hawl, before the whole entire year. Let's say somebody, he pays his zakat, it's due at the end of the month of Ramadan. He's waiting till the end of the month of Ramadan and his zakat is due. And he passed away today. No, he doesn't pay zakat. No, because it did not take the whole entire year. If there's more than 10 days. But the heirs, his family, who inherited him, they took the money and now they possess it. They keep it with them for 1 year. If it stays with them 1 year, then they pay the zakat. But he himself, he's not entitled to pay the zakat because he passed away before his death. Again, we'll go back to what we call it we got some messages sometimes. الذهب والفضة. Most of the people, they have gold, especially women, jewelleries, and nowadays there's a new trend. Some brothers, they buy those gold, Brother Samih, they said gold is gold. He tells you, I don't want to take a chance with other investments. They buy these pieces of gold, they keep it in the bank and the safety box, they hide it somewhere, and he tells, let the market go up and down, I don't care. It's expensive for you and me, poor people, Habib. Some people, mashallah. Some people, they buy those small liras. Some woman, mashallah, every time she tells her husband, let's go to Westminster Mall or Kingsway Mall or to that plaza, he knows he has to put his hand in the pocket. Some people, they like to keep buying. This is the gold, silver, these things. The question here, هل الذهب المستعمل فيه زكاة? The used gold, jewelry, like the rings, earrings, bracelet, necklace, all these things, especially they call it them, for example, al-hulay. Woman, every woman, unfortunately, sometimes you see some brothers, he has like a chain of gold, mashallah, that thick. Huh? It's like, and sometimes he puts like a flag to a country, or like the name of his wife or his mother, or some kind of, he like dolphins, he like the moon, the crescent, or like, non-Muslims, they put bigger cross, that big. Or some brothers, putting this, some brothers, has a gold ring. Yeah, these things. Or the watch. Oh, he brings like very, very expensive watch, tens of thousands of dollars. And he's not a woman, he's a man, with a mustache, and he shaves his beard, and all these things. So you don't have to be surprised. It's there. Some of them, you tell them this is not allowed, then he takes it off, and he never put it back again. But he might take it and throw it home. But this is money, this is gold. Let's start with the woman. The woman, the guy here, he's saying, yes, you have to pay zakat on the gold and silver, these jewelries, huli. But my way of explaining these things, I always tell the people what's the school of thought of this. There's three different opinions, by the way. He adopted one opinion, and I will say why. There's one opinion saying no, on jewelries, if the woman, she's using the jewelry, it's an essential need for her. She doesn't have to pay the zakat on it, especially if she has a normal, like decent amount of jewelry. She's decent woman, she needs couple bracelets, couple rings, some earrings, this and that. Something decent. She like to change it from occasion to occasion, not the same ring every day or so. But some woman, mashallah, she keeps buying. You go home, mashallah, she has a treasure. The scholars, they said, in this case, she has to pay zakat. Because it's like a treasure. It's not like a jewelry for a daily use, occasional. Some ladies, they buy something, they don't even put it on. For some of them, they said, yes, it has to be paid. Some of them said, if she has a decent amount of jewelry, she's using it to put it her on for her husband, for herself, with her friends, she doesn't have to pay it for that. And some of them, they said, regardless, as long as it's gold or silver, she has to pay the money as long as it's above 85 grams of gold and it's above 595 grams of silver. What's the proof for this? This guy, by the way, he adopted the opinions which it goes in the favor of the poor. He said it from the beginning. He said, I will take the approach where it makes sense, there's a reward for the person, at the same time, what's better for the poor people. If there's more than one opinion, one say, and by the way, some of them, they said, just I remembered, the lady, she can pay on her jewelry, which she used to be on the safe side, at least once. At least she pays the zakat of that money at least once. Just to be on the safe side, if she has a decent amount.
Once in the lifetime?
Yes. Once in the lifetime on that piece. Let's say this piece. I paid zakat on it once. Like I'm using it every day. But that's not gold, huh? Just very cheap gold, and it's some silver. Once I used to Brother Samih Khatim, one ring. There was like a crystal, huh? It's $10 worth. For one non-Muslim, he saw, he said, wow. He said, wow. Hey, man, is that, how many carats that? But I said, hey, don't go that far. He thought it's diamond. He said, Habibi, this is not diamond. It's a $10 ring. He thought it's, some people know they buy this. There's a shaykh yesterday, he fundraised Rolex Watch. Fake one. Not the original one. He said to the people in Fort McQuarrie last week in the fundraising. For the Sheikh, he was telling them, guys, I have this Rolex watch. I like it so much. It is fake. I don't know, did he say it's fake life? Anyway, who will buy it for $10,000? One guy, he bought it for $10,000. And I know the guy, he doesn't care about it, Rolex or fake or whatever. Just he want to pay the $10,000. He doesn't want to put the word of the Sheikh down. You know? But what I mean, some people, they are in this. طيب, the proof here, why the person, he should pay zakat on the jewelry, gold, silver, to be on the safe side. عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله عنه أن امرأة أتت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ومعها ابن لها وفي يد ابنتها مسكتان غليظتان من ذهب. See? He's saying, Abdullah ibn Amr al-As, once a lady, she came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم while she has her daughter with her, and her daughter, she has two bracelets, thick ones, made out of gold. فقال لها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أتعطينا زكاة هذه؟ The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, أتعطينا زكاة هذه؟ قالت لا. قال أيسرك أن يسورك الله بهما يوم القيامة سوارين من نار؟ فخلعتهما فألقتهما إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقالت هما لله ورسوله وهذا حديث إسناده صحيح. This lady, she came to the Prophet ﷺ. She has her daughter. Her daughter, she had two bracelets, thick ones, made out of gold. The Prophet ﷺ, he saw it. He asked the lady, do you pay the zakat for this? She said, no. He told her, would you like at the day of judgment, you will come and these two are two pieces of fire in your hand? Because you don't pay the zakat on them. It seems they are two big pieces. For the lady, she took them out of her daughter's hand and she said, oh Messenger of Allah, I want to give all of it for the sake of Allah. The Prophet, he did not ask her to give it for the sake. He said, do you pay the zakat? 2.5. She took 100%. She took all of it. She said, I want to give it to Allah and His Messenger. For those scholars, based on this hadith, they took it as a proof that the lady, when she has over 85 grams of gold and up, she's entitled to pay zakat based on that, this hadith. And the others ones, as we said, well, they said no, if the lady, she's using something based on a decent amount. طيب, a question, هل الحكم بالزكاة يختلف عن الذهب الأبيض? Is there any difference between the white gold and the yellow gold? No. They are gold, you pay zakat on them. Another question, هل الأحجار الكريمة مع الذهب فيها زكاة عند الناس? He's saying, what about those precious stones with the gold? You know, some people, they buy like a ring and it has a precious stone. Or they have like, sometimes you go to the jewelry store, you see a lot, different colors. They like it. There's a gold, part of it gold and or silver, and it has like those, we call it in Arabic, al-ahjar al-karima, these precious stones. Type. Should we consider these precious stones when we pay zakat for the person based on a personal use? They said no. We only considered what's the real amount of the gold and the silver only. We don't calculate the value of the precious stones for the personal use. طيب, what about a person who has a jewelry store? Do we consider that in zakat? Yes. What's the difference? شو الفرق? The difference in the personal use, the person is not using this for business, just personal use, حاجة شخصية. He's just paying to be on the safe side for the part of the gold and the silver. But the guy who has like a jewelry store, he's using these precious stones and is all these things for business. It's like an item. عروض تجارية. So we calculate the value of it. You go to the jewelry store, Brother Mahmoud, and you buy a diamond ring. The diamond ring, he's not going to tell you, you know what, you will pay for the gold. No, no, no. For him, it's an item and you're buying it on hold. How much? $5,000. That's an item. It's money, all of it. And he's making money out of it because he's buying and selling. But for a personal use, he's not buying and selling, as we said in the beginning. أن يكون قابل للنماء حقيقة أو حكما. This is what we said. There's a potential. The money will be increased. But with diamond, I don't advise you guys. I have relatives, they are in jewelry business. I used to go at the beginning when I buy for the wife something. We focus on the diamond. Here in Canada, they like diamond more than gold. Not like back home. Back home, like gold more than diamond. We go buy something, necklace or bracelet or thing with diamond. After a while, I noticed the value of it when the lady, she uses it, it goes down big time. I was talking once to my cousin. I said, how much for this? We bought it from you for this much. He said, oh, at least it went down 50%. Or he said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, this is the problem with diamond. When it's used, I told him then the better for the person to have gold. He said, yes. That's why the gold, certain amount. Now the gold is flying now, the price. From personal experience, because some people sometimes they buy jewelry and their intention in the future, if I go through difficulties, financial problem, I will sell it and use it. Lots of people, they do that, by the way. But gold is gold. Anywhere you go, it's global market, you get the price. That reminds me with Toyota cars and with some other manufacturers. Huh, Brother Hassan? Toyota, you convince us it still carry the value, huh? If you buy some other brands, it goes down very quick. And when you come to sell it, they say, yeah, I will pay you this much, this, they have a special term, they use it. But with some Japanese cars, there's a good example in Turkish. Turkish people, they say, if you are rich, buy any quality, anything. But if you are poor, buy the good stuff, the good quality. You know why? Because you are a poor guy, you buy it once, for you want something good. You don't afford every month to buy a shoes. For you buy one good one, it takes you for a year or two. But the rich person, he doesn't care. If he buys something and it didn't work out, he didn't like it, he will throw it in the closet and he go and buy a second one, third one, fourth one. But that way say, if you are poor, buy a good quality. يعني طيب هل بمقدور الزوج, a question, هل بمقدور الزوج أن يخرج زكاة ذهب الزوجة من ماله? He said, is it allowed for the man to pay the zakat of the jewelry of his wife on behalf of her? Yes. But she should know that. She should be aware of that. يعني, And another question, ما حكم جمع ذهب نساء البيت? What about if you gather, you have a wife, you have a daughter or two daughters or three daughters, four daughters, and your mother or whatever, they are all living with you. Can you pay the zakat on behalf of the gold of all of them? Yes. It's better to separate each one. Sorry. But if you want to pay on behalf of all of them, it's doable. You can do that. But it's good for them to be aware and to know that you are paying the zakat on their jewelry. Here he said, هل إخراج زكاة الذهب مقتصر على النساء دون الرجال? Is it only women they pay zakat on their gold? What about men as well? Men, money is money. Whether he's a man or he's not a man. As we said, some men, they have like watch made out of gold, chain, rings. He's not allowed to wear it to start with. It's haram to do so. But let's say he knows it's haram. Instead of doing one sin, two sins, you want to do one. Yani at least I want to pay the zakat on them. Huh? So he has to pay zakat on that. Some people, they sometimes, some men, not necessarily they have to wear it. He see a beautiful watch in the auction made out of gold. He wants to buy it and keep it for a while for antiques or different auction. He want to auction it to make some money. It took him a year and still with him. He should see the value of the gold in it and he paid the zakat on that because there's a potential for its price to go up. Here, there's some questions I will skip because we already covered. Some people, they might ask this question, how do I calculate zakat al-mal? Always look at the amount you have and divide it on 40. $100,000 divided on 40. How much it will be? Huh? 2,500. See? You have $1 million divided on 40. How much it will be? 25,000. 25,000, it will be the zakat. Whatever money you have, divide it on 40. You have the cell phone with you. Go to the calculator. I put the amount and I divide it on 40. Then it gives me. طيب, some people ask, هل الراتب الشهري عليه زكاة? My monthly salary, is there a zakat on it? Lots of people, they ask this question. Well, here, إذا كان الشخص يمتلك المال شيئا فشيئا. Some people, you have to consider one thing. You might make 10 grand a month, 80 grand a month, 12 grand a month. But your expenses, some people, and when I do marriage counseling, I tell the new couples to consider this. I tell them to avoid financial problems, try to manage. Try always to have some savings, 5, 10, 20, whatever percent aside for unknown future. Like people in the pandemic, lots of people, unfortunately, they have a hobby of spending. If they make 5,000 a grand, they spend 6. They put on their credit cards. If they make 7, they spend 8. They make 9, they spend 10. They are like that. That's why nowadays, tens and hundreds of thousands of Canadians, they have health problems, mental problems, stress, anxiety, depression, just name it. You know why? Because in the pandemic, they didn't have any savings. Before the corona, COVID-19, everything they used to make, they used to spend. When corona came, quarantine, stay home, what happened? Government give you $2,000. It's enough to eat, to pay your bills. But the government did not give you money to pay your mortgage on your car, second car, on your Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, bike, motorcycle, your vehicles, this and that. Lots of people, they ended up losing their mortgages, losing their homes, losing this, because they did not have any savings aside. What happened? Living in a house for a while, losing it, they start having problems. طيب. Going back to the salary, monthly, you get a salary every month. You look at it. If you are getting $5,000, $6,000 and you are spending them and you don't have in the bank $2,000, $3,000, you don't pay zakat. Even if you make 100,000, even if you make 150,000 a year, but you spend it through the year, and you look into the account, I have $1,000, I have $500, I don't have anything. You don't pay zakat on that. But let's say you made $150,000. You paid your rent, your mortgages, your expenses, your food, everything. And always in the account, there's over 6,500 always in the bank for the whole year. You came in Ramadan when you pay your zakat and you said, oh, I have 30 grands in the bank. Then you pay the zakat based on the 30,000 in your bank. You divide it on 40 and you see how much it will give you. This is your zakat money. Not because you make on a monthly basis lots of money, you have to pay zakat on it. No. You have to see at the end of the year, what did you save from that money? Allah is merciful with us. But with the government of Canada, whether you are spending that, once you get your salary at the end of the month, they deduct the company you work for, the organization, the business. Lots of them, what they do, they deduct the tax on the spot. This is your net. Go deal with it. Whether it's enough or not enough. Then you go solve your problem with the government. طيب من له question من له مستحقات مالية لدى الدولة رواتب متأخرة مثلا فهل عليها زكاة? He's saying, what about those? Some people, they work for the government or big companies, and they give them bonuses and grants and all these things, but it's still with the company. At the end, when you retire, sometimes they give it to you one shot. I know some people work in the oil industry for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. When he retires, he's getting his salary, everything, and at the end they give him that retirement share. Like back home, you serve in the army for 20, 15, 30, 40 years, and at the end you want to retire. They give you this much of money, for example. Here, it's with the army, with so many. You work with the hospital, you work with, it depends where you work. Should you pay, let's say you retired, or you're not retired, still, you are building that amount of money with your company. I know some people, they work with CN here. CN. He gets his salary, everything, but when he finishes, will retire with them, they will give him a certain, he knows how much money as a savings, they are saving it for him or her. When they are done, they'll give it to them. Type this, you pay zakat on it, as long as you did not receive it, and you didn't have a chance to invest it, to increase it, to get any dividend, anything on it, you don't. But once you receive it, you pay zakat on it one time. Because as we said, you have no access to that money. If you have an access, you will take it and you invest it. But they said, no, you're not allowed to touch it. There's many forms, RCCP, RSP, or this. Some people, they have some savings. There's two kinds. One kind of savings in the bank, as he sent here, this is a question. هل المال المرهون عند البنك على شكل وديعة تدر ربحا سنويا فيها زكاة? He's saying here, what about if you have money in the bank? Some people, what do they do? Some people, they go to the bank and they open saving account, not to be touched. Back home, I remember in Lebanon, you open an account for 5 years. For 5 years, you're not allowed to take a penny. You have no access whatsoever. So now they took everything. That's an exception. That's in Lebanon now, it's a story, it's exception. But before the disaster, before the crisis, it was like that. You talk to the person, brother, somebody came complain about you. He built something for you in your house. You are building a house. You are not paying him. What's wrong with you? It's almost a year. It's almost 2 years. He said, yes. And you have money. Why you're not paying him? He said, Shaykh, yeah, I know I owe him, but I have money in the bank. Listen to this. And I am not allowed to take any money from it. Because I sign a contract. You know why he do all these things? To guide a very high rate or percentage of interest. It reached in Lebanon 14, 15, 16, almost 18 or 20% of interest. That's why lots of people, they sold lots of stuff here and they took the money back home and they were, mashallah, they were so happy. They were so happy with the interest, the highest rate and maybe in the world, 14, 15, 16, 18%. I know one guy, every adhan saying Allahu Akbar al-Fajr, he used to get 60,000 US dollars. He's putting millions of dollars there. Some people less. They were so happy. But now Allah, what did Allah say? يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. Allah will destroy a riba and everything related to a riba. For people now when they talk, I said, hey, don't open your mouth. I feel sorry for you, but at the same time, don't blame nobody, blame yourself. You brought all your eggs and you put in one basket and not in a halal way. You put it in a haram way. Some people, they sold their businesses here. You know what people they did here in Canada as well? The interest rate, when you go to the bank, you have a line of credit, they charge you 3%, 2 point, 1.9, 3 point something. Maybe now it's 2 point something. So they used to use their line of credit here, taking the money and sending it to Lebanon. And he makes 14, 15, 16% of interest. Then he pays the bank here the 2%. And he makes a profit 12. See, it's a good business, huh? But it's a business with a shaitan. It's a business with no barakah. That's why disappeared. Because Allah said, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. The whole system, corruption plus a usury system. I will end with this last question here. I will finish it. He said, هل حساب الجاري فيه زكاة? The running account, is it the checking account, huh? He's saying here, is the checking account, if I have money, not only in the savings, if I have money in my checking account, which I can use on a daily basis, yes, there's a zakat on it. Because you are putting this money and you are lending this money, whatever, you're putting it in the bank. And the bank, as they said, يُعَدُّ مَلِيئًا بَاذِلًا. The bank, he always has the money. And when you go for your money, you can get it usually anytime. What does this mean? This means you have an access to your money. As long as you have an access to your money and the amount is over 6,500 and it's with you for the whole year, you are entitled to pay zakat on your checking account. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll start our talk about zakat al-ashum, about the shares, stocks, government bonds, and these things, and we'll go from there. Is any question for at least for what we have raised and discussed? Anybody had understood all? Because we did not finish yet. We are still, this is our third episode. We still have at least 3 or 4 more to go. Now,
Sheikh, clarification. So earlier in the first half of your lecture, you said when you go to a jewelry store to buy, like jewelry or your wife or whoever, right? So you pay the zakat of the stuff that you use it like day to day, like normal use. You pay the zakat on the price that you got it for, right? So for example, you said 20.
no, not the price you got it on. Let's say you have jewelry. This jewelry, does it have these precious stones or not? It has. For you, for a personal use, you're not like a jeweler. The jeweler, he looks at it, it's an item. This precious stone and the gold or the silver or the platinum or the whatever, he looks at it, in his store, it's an item, it's money. It's money. And he's having it in order to invest, buying and selling to make money. He has to pay the money on the value of it. You, like you have this ring. You take it to him and you tell him, what's the way of this without the stone? He tell you this has, for example, 600 gram. Let's say this silver, 600 gram without the stone. Based on the 600 gram, you ask him how much the 600 gram, because it's above 595 in silver. He tells you, well, for example, this much of money. You pay the 2.5 of that silver value, not on the precious. You already deducted the precious stone, because for you, it's not personal use. It's not an item anymore for selling and buying. This is the difference. You got it?
What happens to the value of the stones?
No, that has nothing to do with it. As I bought this phone at Apple Store is an item for business, for buying and selling. For me now, it's for personal use. If a Muslim, he has these phones at his store, he pays zakat on it. But for me, I'm using it as a personal use on my daily life and my business. I don't pay zakat on it because this is not a merchandise anymore. You know, it's not a business item. You got it? Like cars. You have your own car now. You're driving it. You don't pay zakat on it. But let's say you have a lot, car lot, and you're putting 20 cars there for buying and selling. You pay zakat on these 20 cars. See?
What about your shift? If it's not for buying and selling, maybe I'm a collector, right? I have certain.
Aywa, that's a good question. If you're a collector and your intention, like some people, and I know them, they go buy antiques. They go buy old money. You go buy, like, for example, $1 Canadian, 1860 or whatever. You don't pay for it $1. You go to the antique stores, they said, no, this is worth 20 or 100, or this is an item. For your intention, you bring it to sell it, to make profit. And there's a potential to make money. This way, you pay zakat on it, based on your intention.
Like if my intention is just to keep it, like I'm not going to sell it or anything, just because.
No, if it's for personal use, you're using it, yes. But if you're investing, putting lots of money on something, and you're just putting it there to be on the safe side, you pay zakat on it. Because people, they look at it not for personal use. But if you bought, for example, you bought this very old car, you like, it's your hobby. You went there, you bought this old car from 1950 or 1940. You look the way it looks like, the muffler, this and that, and you only take it out maybe in summertime for a ride here and there. You don't pay zakat on this. It's just like you're using it, but not on a daily basis, and it's not for business as well. But if you bought that car as an antique, and your intention, I want to keep it for a while to auction it and to get more money on it, then you to be on the safe side, you pay zakat on it, because your intention, you are dealing with it as a business, not as personal use. As I said yesterday, let's say a person, some people, they have 3 homes. Some people, they have a home here in Edmonton, they have home back home in Lebanon, and they have a home in Kelowna, BC, or in California, or in Honolulu. Not for business. They don't rent them out. They just say, and in winter time, I escape to California. In summertime, or like springtime, I go to Lebanon. Winter time, I got here, or something like that. For these homes, they're not renting it, and they're not buying and selling. They're not in real estate business. They're not developers. Just his own house. He bought it in order to use it on a personal level. Is there any question before we leave? جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله على رسول الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته ونسأل الله عز وجل القبول والإخلاص. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.